to everybody. This is about Alyssa Milano. Why the time is now for a hashtag sex strike. And as you can see here, the video is Alyssa Milano. And I don't know how she does it, but she lives in LA but works in Georgia. She must really got a good travel plan somewhere along the way. Call it for a sex strike as a way to protest restrictions on abortion has sparked a powerful response. So, yeah, it has really sparked a powerful response. Sure, it's been a mixed reaction, but it got the country talking about the GOP's undeniable war on women. And let's face it, with so much going on every day in the news, sometimes we need an extreme response to get national attention. Yeah, well, it is true. Women do need attention every now and then, but now the GOP's they're undeniable on the war on women. But with the GOP's, they don't even really care about what women want because we, as women, we do have our rights and that. But they just want to ban the abortion altogether. So now that we have your attention, our reproductive rights are blatantly and systematically being stripped away before our very eyes. Abortion care is a normal and at times necessary medical procedure, but anti choice activists have strategically chipped away at abortion rights and access for decades with the hopes of overturning Roe versus Wade. Oops, here we go with that Roe versus Wade. Yeah, I'm not going to even get into that part, but with us women, yes, we our rights are being stripped away because of these lawmakers and that, and she's saying that it's a medical necessary medical procedure. But you know what though, if you don't want children, don't open your legs. Keep them closed. Do adoption or do something, but if you don't want children, no. Just keep your legs closed. And this is Walisha Wilson, co-author of Alyssa Milano. And here's Alyssa Milano herself. The attempts to treat women as second class citizens have become increasingly brazen, and just last week, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed the Heartbeat Bill, which bans most abortions as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. The bill also allows a fetus to be counted in the census and can be claimed as a department or a dependent minor on income taxes. So yeah, you can claim your fetus as an independent on your income taxes. That you are allowed to do. But now that this bill had went and has been signed by Brian Kemp for the heartbeat bill, it bans the abortion totally. And so that no woman in Georgia could be allowed to have any abortions at all. And Melissa Milano is fighting it, but I doubt very much she's going to get anywhere with it. Georgia is the fourth state to pass a 6-week ban this year and is one of 16 states working to pass such legislation. None of these bans have yet to take effect, and while they will be challenged in court, they are part of an alarming trend. So yeah, Georgia is the fourth state. Um, None of them has been taken effect yet, and we don't know when that will take effect, but it just hasn't been yet, and it's one of the 16 states that is working on pass such legislation. The attacks on women and abortion rights don't stop there. In Alabama, lawmakers are scheduled to vote on a bill that would ban nearly all abortions, with a single exception in cases involving a serious health risk to the mother. The Texas legislature had hearings on a bill that would allow a woman who has an abortion to be charged with capital murder, a crime that is punishable by death in the state. And there was a bill in Ohio that required the removal and replacement of an ectopic pregnancy when a fertilized egg attaches itself outside the uterus, which is a medical impossibility. So now you got Texas, they do not allow they will not allow abortions. If they do, then it's capital murder, and then they will be punishable by death in the state. Ohio, it has required the removal and replacement of a pregnancy with the fetus on the outside of the uterus. So that's another problem. Um, of course, the lawmakers are scheduled to vote on a bill that would ban nearly all abortions. And so this way, no woman will have rights ever again. All of these bills have the same singular purpose: to make it up to the Supreme Court. The sponsor of Alabama's pending abortion bill, Representative Terry Collins, openly said that the bill's goal was to spark litigation that would force the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. Anti choice legislators speak with alarming candor, and their intentions are very clear. They want to take away all control pregnant people have over their own bodies. Yeah, so there they go with that Roe versus Wade again. And of course, um, Alabama is pending the abortion bill. The Roe versus Wade thing, I don't know why that's even in the middle of anything. The anti choice legislators speak the alarming candor, and their intentions are very clear, but so now these women will not have control over their own bodies no more, because once the bill goes through to ban all abortions, that's it. There's no way that the women will have control of their own bodies no more. 60% of abortions are performed by independent providers in our country, according to a 2017 Abortion Care Network report. And advocates on the ground are doing incredible and often thankless work. Groups like Sister Song, Women of Color, Reproductive Justice Collective are fighting for the human right to maintain personal bodily anatomies. Yeah, so that's what they're 60% of abortions. Yeah, you can go to your independent providers in private instead of going to Planned Parenthood or any place, but Sister Song and Women of Color Reproductive Justice Collective are fighting for these human rights. And women are fighting back because these lawmakers are just so cruel to women that they don't even care anymore. Organized organizations like Feminist Women's Health Center in Georgia and ARC Southeast in 6 southern states, including Georgia, are doing advocacy and education work and funding and practical support respectively. The Abortion Care Network is another organization working to ensure meaningful access to abortion care across the U.S. through independent abortion providers. So that's what they're doing. They're getting their organizations together. They're doing everything they can to keep the women's rights and that, but it's going to be very hard too, because working on ensure meaningful access, the only time you can get an abortion if you're at health risk, that's all. But other than that, you will be banned and you will be murdered, or will the Texas, they will give you punishable by death. And I really wish these lawmakers would just leave women alone, but they don't know how to do that. Organiza- Organizers on the ground across the Midwest and South have been working for decades at the state level. These advocates and organizations rarely receive the national attention they need to significantly move the needle, not just to defend against harmful legislation, but to actually move proactive legislation that supports our communities. We need everyone to be engaged in this assault on our reproductive rights. So, yeah, as long as the women's rights, reproductive rights are being stripped away, the lawmakers are going to make sure there are a ban on abortion. They want to make sure that no woman can get abortion ever. Even if you was raped, you still can't get an abortion. They're going to ban it. So, and who knows how long it will be before that law goes into effect. And as you can see down here's the one, I guess one of the lawmakers. I don't know. So the time for national engagement on this issue is long overdue. So, yeah, it was way overdue. We must collectively reject these restrictions on our basic human rights and dignity in every way that we can. This flood of anti abortion legislation is completely outrageous, and an equally bold response is required. And so we call on all people whose rights are in danger to participate in a hashtag sex strike. So, yeah, that's what it's going to be. They're calling on everybody who are in danger to participate in a hashtag sex strike because of the lawmakers. Laws restricting abortion rights and access are a targeted attempt to erase decades of hard fought gains for women's anatomy. A hashtag sex strike is another way for people who have the potential to get pregnant to call attention to this systematic onslaught and assert the power to change our own destinies. Yeah, so they're calling this a hashtag sex strike. It's another way to get people to get their attention and even the potential to get pregnant. To call for the systematic onslaught of getting these lawmakers to stop it, to stop this bill from going through. Lysistratic protest is a long-standing, effective, and empowering method to fight for change. In the 1600s, all right, I can't pronounce that word, so please don't judge me, but it's Iroquois. Women refused to engage in sex as a way to stop unregulated warfare, and their demands were met in 2009. Activists in Kenya organized a sex strike to force an end that deteriorating relationship between the president and prime minister. The strike lasted 7 days and ended when the leaders finally agreed to talks. In 2011, Colombia woman used a sex strike to get a dangerous 35-mile road repaired. Wow, I didn't know they could do that. But good to know. Um, so there was a lot of activists in Kenya. There was organized a sex strike to deteriorating shifts between the president and prime minister, and of course the strike lasted for 7 whole days and ended when the leaders finally agreed to talks in 2011. So whatever that talks was about in 2011, we will never know because who knows what happened during that time. And of course, this is the video of the bill being signed. It's a heartbeat law, sets up possible challenges to Roe versus Wade. So, and of course, this he's signing the bill. When utilized as part of a broader strategy of conditioned action, sex strikes can raise awareness and achieve a wide range of political objectives. This is just one tool available in the fight for reproductive justice and abortion access. We must also support the organizations and individuals working courageously on the front lines by supporting them. So they want all the women to fight for their rights, but it's going to be kind of hard because when you got women that are fighting for their rights, and of course they're always outnumbered by the lawmakers, obviously, because the lawmakers, they don't care. They just want to sign this bill to ban the abortion rights so no woman could have any say in it no more. At its heart, these attempts to wield control over sex come from a desire to reassert total control over our bodies and our reproductive rights. But really, it's about power. Whoever controls reproduction has power. The stakes are extremely high, and a number of lawmakers, many of whom are men, get to make decisions with serious ramifications. So the men has to make all the decisions for the women, and the women has no say in anything. So I mean, whoever is in control of the reproduction has power. So yeah, and it is extremely high right now, and once the women lose their rights, that's it. It's gone. There is no turning back now. And these lawmakers are really getting to be real ridiculous. Now they want to control us women, what we can and cannot have. This is really ridiculous of them. And of course, this is the Supreme Court blocks Supreme Court blocks restrictive Louisiana abortion law that you can see in the video here. We need to pay attention to the incremental challenges to abortion rights and figure out how to resist them both collectively and individually. Yeah, so all the women have to figure out how to resist them collectively and individually, and it's not going to be easy because when the Supreme Court makes a decision, they have to go by what the Supreme Court has to say. But apparently, for now, it's been blocked by the Supreme Court. Abortion access is not just a woman's issue. Abortion is a human right issue. Abortion is a labor issue. Abortion is a public health issue. Abortion is an issue for people of all genders. So they saying that it's a human right, it's a labor issue, but it all depends on how far of a labor issue it is, and it's a public health issue. So say, like, for example, if you are very sick or whatever, and you're trying to have a child or whatever, you can't, because it's not going to turn out the way you want it to turn out. And of course, it's an abortion is an issue for all genders. It don't matter. A hashtag sex strike is a way to target straight cisgender men so they may feel the physical consequences of our reproductive rights being systematically eliminated. This form of protest has the potential to raise the issue far beyond the usual groups engaged in debates about reproductive health. It's a way to ignite conversation and help everyone understand the gravity of the situation, and the intimidate need to or for swift action. I'm sorry. Yeah, so they want the women want the men to feel what it's like to be stripped of their rights. They want to feel what it's like to be pregnant. They want to feel what it's like for the women to have to go through all of this mess. And of course, it's in debates with the reproductive health. It's really hard on the women right now, but they want the men to feel what it's like for us women that we have to go through every day. Our vision is a world where people can all thrive. We want everyone to live healthy lives and have control over their sexual and reproductive choices. Join us by not having sex until we achieve full bodily anatomy for all. It's time for a hashtag sex strike. And yep, that's it. If you don't want kids, don't have sex. Just say no to it. And until women get their rights back, but apparently right now is like a roller coaster going up, down, sideways, and everywhere that you could think of. But it is time for a hashtag sex straight, and that's what Alyssa Milano is doing when she's getting the women to try to resist all this ban abortion issue because of these lawmakers. Leave your comments below. I am out.